But let me just say this. Here we are at a time, the only offensive weapon we have is the Word of God. What does the Lord say? This is why it's so important to study, to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. This is why it's so important to not forsake the assembling of yourselves together as some have in like manner, but exhorting one another. You are to be in church on Sunday morning and when the church doors are open in these last days before Jesus Christ comes. Because this is your protection. You need the fellowship of other Christians. You need that fellowship. You need the teaching of the Bible so that you can go out and defend the Word of God when the preacher's not there. And you need to just be in the presence of the Lord when the Word of God is taught. You need to have that intake of the Word of God if you're going to be a strong Christian. You can never grow as a Christian without the Word of God. Grow in the grace and knowledge of the Word of God. There in 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8 it says, therefore the old devil walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. There was a time back I went hunting. And when I got home at the end of the day, I found out my leg began to itch. My leg began to itch. And so I pulled up my pants leg, and I had black dots all over my legs. They were covered. They were covered. Just black dots. So I thought they were little seeds that fell off of something when I was tramping through the woods and so forth like that. Well, I found out they weren't. I found out they were some kind of little vicious bugs. They were the size of a pinhead. You couldn't even tell they were any kind of a bug, just the size of a pinhead. So I took my knife and I scraped them off and so forth like that, and they're just the size of a pinhead. You can't tell they're alive even. They are vicious little things. So I began to scratch my leg and my ankles and everywhere else that I got bitten by these little things. And finally, my wife said, you better call the doctor here because this is not good. So I called the doctor and I went down and seen the doctor, and he said, yep. He said, these are the most vicious little things you will ever find. And he says, they're vicious. They attack you, and my whole leg was just covered. And my other leg was covered. But what I was just illustrating, isn't that like old Satan in a way? Now, not that he sent the bugs, but I thought, I didn't even know I had them on me. And it was so slick, they were on there, didn't even feel them bite or anything. My legs started to itch, and I pulled up my pants leg, and there I am, black spots everywhere. You can hardly see my leg. So I'm taking my knife, scraping them off, and then they had already, he said, they got the most poisonous, venomous secretion in them for their size of anything I know. Then he was telling me about a fellow got in an alfalfa field and got attacked by him, and his face was about a fourth bigger than when he came in. Didn't even recognize the man, and it was horrible. So I had to go get a tube of salve. It cost me $47.50 and 7 pills. And but I thought, isn't that just like old Satan works? He comes in so slick and so easy, and you can't even feel his presence, and he just sort of takes over a little bit. And then as time goes on, after he sort of gets your thinking, maybe he'll get you mad in church. Just so, well, I'm not coming back. However he works, any way that he can work to get you not to obey the Lord. He's slick, isn't he? Just slicker than all get out. And he always plays on our feelings and our emotions and our, hey, nobody can do this to me. And how many times, any of you ever got your feelings hurt? And then after a while, you look back at it, maybe a while later, and you think, that is sort of stupid, wasn't it? I have. I don't know. Maybe you're different. But get your feelings hurt, and then you look back and think, oh, I don't want to admit it, but it was sort of stupid, really. There's worse things in life to worry about than getting my feelings hurt because somebody didn't say, oh, that was a wonderful message this morning, Pastor Younce. That was really great. And nobody said a word to me. And I studied and studied and studied. And when I went out, I thought, this isn't worth it. And after all, nobody appreciates me. I think I'll resign next week. Now I get thinking about it. That's sort of stupid, old Maxie. You just got a little bit too much pride there. You got just a little bit. You're not in it for a popularity contest. Did you preach the Word of God of what you studied? Yes, Lord, I did. Fine, forget it and hang it up and throw your pride down the window. And what do you want, somebody to pat you on the back every time you preach a sermon?